Welcome to another edition of the Sports Block. My name is Will Giddis, alongside Tucker Penny here for the fourth round of the 4A state playoffs for the softball playoff championship. We are here to bring your Middle Creek Mustangs to take on the West Johnston Wildcats. This, I believe, is probably their first meeting between the two teams. Did not have enough time to catch up with Coach Ray and talk about what he knows about the team. Typically, when they haven't met, he does not know much about them. Fortunately for us, News and Observer has posted a quick little recap of the West Johnston Fuquay game. I'm going to pass it over to Tucker to give us the quick little highlights about what that kind of entailed.
Thanks, Will. Last time they played, West Johnston played Fuquay, and they beat them 6-1 in the third round of the state playoffs. The Wildcats was led by the starting sophomore pitcher, Megan Mills, to keep the Bengals hitters at bay, allowing just 4 hits while striking out 13. Also, in the playoffs, Mills only allowed just 9 hits and only 2 earned runs while racking up 40 strikeouts. As a team, West Johnston has outscored opponents 20-4 in the postseason.
Yeah, and Megan Mills is going to be the starting pitcher against the Mustangs here today. Typically with these softball pitchers, they can go, because it's an underhand motion, unlike in baseball where it's over the top, that when you throw it over the top, it really puts wear and tear on your arm, whereas in softball, throwing underhand is more of a natural motion, so you can pitch a lot more without it start hurting or something along those lines. So she's going to be pitching here against us today. Just by the quick little scouting report, she sounds very similar to Middle Creek's Devin Wallace with the amount of strikeouts and few amount of hits she has surrendered. It's definitely going to be a good matchup. West Johnston is actually a number 2 seed. Middle Creek is a number 1 seed. But just going through West Johnston's win, their first win, they beat Apex 5-2. And I mean, Apex is a team that the Mustangs have lost to this season, and they beat them. Then they beat Heritage 9-1, and just last week, or earlier in the week rather, they beat Fuquay 6-1. Fuquay was on a hot streak, and they were able to come out with it. And now here they are today in the town of Cary, or I believe we're in Apex actually, to play against the Mustangs here. Starting for the Mustangs is going to be once again number 25, Devin Wallace, and typically the Mustangs like to keep it kind of mixed up with Wallace and Kylie Majette on the mound, and mostly it's just been Wallace pitching the last couple times. She's been entirely on fire, just racking up strikeout after strikeout and really shutting down these other teams. She's gets the nod here again today.
And it's crazy because she's a sophomore, so imagine her the next 2 years as she continues to grow.
This is, as you said, this is a very young Middle Creek team. Only 4 starting seniors, I believe, or only 4 seniors on the entire team. So next year, they're already 4 rounds into the state playoffs. You can only imagine how good they're going to be in the coming up years. And just go ahead.
It'll especially be good if they have a good 8th graders rising up. So that'll be very nice to see.
Yeah, Middle Creek likes to keep the team young. So any freshmen that show a good amount of talent are going to be a great addition for the Mustangs. And it is 81 degrees out here today. Not a little bit warm. I wouldn't say over the top hot. And there is actually a 40 or 30% chance of thunderstorms according to the handy dandy weather app. And we're looking pretty good right now. We're hoping those are going to kind of hold off for a while. So with Wallace on the mound, that's going to bring up number 10, Nadia Blevins for West Johnston. That is a first pitch strike. And quick foul tip, 0-2. Pitch, pretty close.
Bit outside though, so.
Yep, last game umpire was calling a lot of outside pitches. Might have been a punch out last game, but not the same umpire every game, and it's going to take a little bit adjusting to the strike zone, and that's a swing and a miss for the first out of the inning as a strikeout. And that's going to bring up number 2, Kristen Power. fouled back, 0-1. And I think she probably wouldn't have wanted to swing at that one. And the field umpire called that one foul. The home plate umpire called it fair. And they're just going to huddle and call it foul. I think that's the right call, as it is kind of the infield umpire's call there. But actually not very good decision-making by the Mustangs there, picking that ball up. If they let it roll a little bit more, it would have been indisputably foul. But get a little bit lucky here, so 0-2.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
Yeah, she's one of those slap hitters, just trying to poke at the ball, get some bat on it. But with that outside pitch, that's the second strikeout and second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 3, Rachel Willis. Swing and a miss. Nothing but strikes here so far from Wallace.
Another strike by Wallace.
And, they're swinging at it. It's not even like the umpires calling them. It's just hitters are not able to hit her pitches.
That shows how consecutive she is, too.
Fights that one off. Considering she hasn't thrown a ball yet, a high and outside pitch that the hitter couldn't possibly touch, try and get her to chase it here might not be a bad idea. Maybe a little bit too far outside there for the first ball of the game. And a nice breaking ball as she strikes out the side. Very, very like Wallace there with 3 strikeouts already here in the game. So no score. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block. One block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. One block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. One block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. And welcome back to the Sports Block, as is tradition of the Mustangs. As leading off is number 55, Allie Berghardt. As mentioned earlier, this is number 12, Megan Mills, on the mound for West Johnston. First pitch, too high, 1-0. Called strike outside corner. And kind of pops that one. We'll see if the left fielder is going to make a play. she's not going to be able to, and that's just going to roll right past her. Burkhart easily going to get into third with a lead-off triple.
Hit it right in the gap there. Perfect location for that.
And, unfortunately for the left fielder, that ball had some backspin on it, so it kind of went right by her and had enough momentum on it to roll into the left center gap, and just like that, Mustangs have a runner on third.
And the crowd from Middle Creek was going wild after that hit. I've never seen the crowd this big.
Yeah, we've been drawing some crowds the past couple of rounds for softball, and even now especially, it's packed. I mean, I was surprised in the first few rounds of the playoffs when, it was probably 3/4 or 4/5 full. And now it's just there's absolutely no room in the stands. So Mustangs out here showing their pride.
People are even having to stand outside the bleachers. That shows how packed it is.
And that's lined right over the head of the third baseman. And left fielder kind of bobbles the ball. She's going to throw it to second.
And she slides in there with a double.
And just like that, 2 batters and 1 run for the Mustangs. Still no outs with a runner on second. And that's going to bring up third baseman number 2, Lauren Pinella. Walker, I don't want to say she's been struggling the past couple of games, but she definitely has, for a number 2 hitter, in my opinion, not been getting on as much as perhaps she normally would or should, or however you want to phrase it. But, that was a nice, solid hit ball, something I haven't really seen much from her in the playoffs, and might just be, the start of a hitting streak. Baseball and softball are both very streaky kind of games. You have games where you hit every single pitch that's thrown to you, and other games where you can't touch the ball at all. So hopefully for the Mustangs, most of them are going to be able to key in here and get some hits generated.
That's definitely right. You have to earn your spot every single game in the lineup, or else you'll move down the lineup.
Yeah, Robbie Ray has kept the first 5 or 6 batters relatively the same for the Mustangs. It's usually the back 3 that get moved around a lot. And, I kind of feel like if the first couple of hitters didn't produce, I feel like there might have been some lineup changes.
Foul tip.
I believe that's going to be 1-1. Called strike outside corner, 1-2. And gets her to chase there for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up cleanup hitter number 28, Kylie Majette. She's playing first base. Base hit here will probably score Walker. She is very quick. And it's called strike. Might have been a little bit high, but maybe, yeah, I'm going to call that a good strike.
Looked a bit inside, though, so.
Yeah, it's kind of tough to tell from my angle just with the umpire blocking the plate. That one's too far outside, 1-1.
And the way the catcher places it, too, because it can be, really outside, but the way her glove is, you can call it as a strike. Yeah, in baseball, softball terminology, it's called, when the catcher does that, called framing the ball, kind of for the umpire to see. Oh, yeah, I remember. That one definitely looked inside. Had a little bit of movement on it, so 1-2 is the count. And grounds that to the right side to the second baseman, bobbles it, throw over to first, and not in time. And that's going to be a successful base hit for Majette. That was a great play by the second baseman, though. Not letting it go to the outfield, or else the runner on second would have scored easily. Yeah, that was a good job of just keeping her in front of her. Didn't get the out there, but did save a run. And that's fouled back. Out of play. It's going to be number 25, the pitcher, Devin Wallace. She has 2 home runs so far in the state playoffs. Let's hope she can get another one here with two women on. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
Still only 1 out in the inning. And that one definitely had some movement on her. It kind of rode in on her. And that is the 2nd out of the inning, so it's going to be up to Powell here. Number 5, the catcher, to drive some of this run in 3rd at least in. She's been doing pretty well, to say the least, these playoff series. She's definitely produced probably 5 or 6 RBIs, plethora of base hits. First pitch strike. And swing and a miss. And another breaking ball. So all 3 Mustang outs here were strikeouts, but Mustangs did draw first blood, putting up 1-0 going into the top of the 2nd inning. Unable to capitalize, leave some runners stranded, but we're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. And we're back here in the top of the 2nd inning. Mustangs lead 1-0. Batting for West Johnston is going to be number 5, Caitlin McLam, the first baseman. First pitch ball. Two and 0. Hit foul towards Middle Creek's dugout. And I've really neglected actually to talk about Middle Creek's trip to round 4 here in the playoffs. First game, Mercy ruled Wakefield 11-1. Next game beat Millbrook 4-0. That was a good game. Middle Creek really did have the dominance there, though. And that's a ball 3-1. And then earlier in the week, they beat Leesville Road 10-0 in 5 innings. Really, Mustangs have just been dominating their opponents here. And it's been in large part, in 3 rounds, they've only surrendered 1 run, and that was to Wakefield, and they beat them by 10. So, Mustangs' defense and pitching is just really what, in addition to great offense, but really the pitching has been what allows them to win games here.
Yeah, they've been on fire recently.
And this is going to bring up number 1, Lauren LeClaire. And that's chopped, going nowhere. And pop foul. Got a piece of the dugout, or not the dugout, the sports block hideout.
There's a happy fan getting in baseball.
Yeah, you know, they actually have to give those back, and it is a softball.
Ugh. Potato.
Welcome to Sports Block, rookie. And runner on first getting a healthy lead down there. Powell checking to make sure she's in line. And a swing and a miss. So that is the first out of the inning and fourth strikeout for Wallace. And that's going to bring up number 12, the pitcher, Megan Mills. First pitch strike. Way inside there. And another called strike. Pitcher giving a dirty look to the umpire. I'm sorry, number 12, Megan Mills, giving a dirty look towards the umpire, which, as the opposing pitcher, is something you typically would want to avoid. And a swing and a miss. And that's the second out of the inning. And fifth strikeout of the game.
All the outs so far have been strikeouts. There haven't been any outs in the field, so that shows how good Devin Wallace is doing so far in this game.
High and outside, 1-0. Bit low there, 2-0. Swing and a miss. Hitters count 2-1. And as I mentioned earlier in the game, Jet really hasn't been pitching much here in the playoffs. And I think you can kind of see why here. Wallace is just absolutely dominant, and not to take away from the Jet at all, but I mean, Wallace has just been on a tear while she's been pitching. 2-2 count. And that is a called strike 3. And that is the last out of the inning. All outs so far have been strikeouts. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off. And
kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. Leading off for the Mustangs going to be number 22, second baseman, Jackie Schiavone. I recall my sophomore year, first time doing Sports Block, I announced her as Jackie Schiavone. I can't recall which Sports Block teacher it was. Told me it was Schiavone, and I knew they were wrong, and kept saying it anyway. That's a first pitch strike. And then I got corrected again, and here we are. It is, in fact, Schiavone. Mr. First had it incorrect, not to call anybody out. And Mr. Petty had it correct. 1-1 is the count. And called strike. 1-2. And that's called strike 3, and she knew it as she was running out of the box before we even called it. So that is the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up number 4, Rachel Class, with a K. Too high. 1-0. And that one looked kind of low. 2-0. And swung on and missed. 2-1 hitters count. Mustangs haven't been making much contact, but when they do, it's going places. Another swing and a miss. Pretty close, and I think the umpire wanted to call it, but a little bit too outside. Full count, 3-2. And breaking ball gets her. Swing and a miss for the strikeout. And that's going to bring up the number 9 hitter, left fielder, number 1, Lily Morris. Lily had a very good game last game, driving in the first couple of runs. I believe she had 3 of the 4 runs at one point for the Mustangs. Swing and a miss. 0-1. 3 of the 4 RBIs, I should say, at the time.
Breaking ball didn't floor there. It was a bit high, so 1-1.
And another swing and a miss. Mustangs typically make pretty good contact with the ball. I think Miss Megan Mills here is doing a good job mixing up speeds, curve and height. So that was actually a strike 3 off the glove of the catcher, gets away from her. And that is going to allow Morris to advance to first. For those of you who don't know that rule, when you stop and think about it, kind of a silly rule, but is a rule. If the ball gets by the catcher on the third strike and first base is not occupied, then the batter has the chance to run to first while the catcher goes and gets the ball. And if the catcher throws the ball before the batter reaches first and the batter's out, if the batter reaches the base before the catcher throws the ball down. Then they are safe. Confusing, I know.
Very.
And there's a little bit of a bunt. Lays it down. Misplayed by the third baseman. And bounces by her. And that is going to be a base hit for number 55, Allie Burkhart, bringing around. Number 7, Megan Walker, had a line drive single over the head of the third baseman her last at bat. And high and inside. On that bunt from Burkhart, typically you want to hit it on the ground, but just placed it well enough to, well, with enough backspin too, to get it by the third baseman. 2-0 now. Looked a little bit high, but called a strike. 2-1. And swung on and missed. 2-2. And fights that one off. 2-2. You can see, you can definitely see it on that last swing. The pitcher's keeping Mustang hitters kind of off on their toes with what she's going to throw. You know, slow, fast, high, low, movement, no movement. And a swing and a miss gets her there, and that is the last out of the inning. So no blood struck here in the second. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we are back with the Sports Block. Leading off for West Johnston is going to be number 8, Jordan Hunt. As you might imagine, Devin Wallace going to remain on the mound for the Mustangs. And backdoor breaking ball. Called strike. And too far outside there. Looked pretty close there. Might have been a little bit, I don't know, what do you think? 2 inside?
A bit low and inside, yeah.
2-1. And that one was way inside. Swung anyway. 2-2, even count. And a swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Wallace. And this is number 7 on the day. So far, the weather is still looking pretty good. We got a 360-degree kind of view here. No, doesn't look like any clouds are rolling in. This is number 11, Ashley McLaren, up to bat. Hits it right back to Wallace. Throw over to first for the second out of the inning, I should say. And that was the first out that was not a strikeout, recorded for the Mustangs. And that's going to swing it right back around to the top of the order. Number 10, Nadia Blevins, the center fielder. Pretty close. Might have been low. 1-0. And that hits her right on the knee. And that's going to allow a runner on base with 2 outs, bringing up number 2, Kristen Power, the shortstop. Squares for a bunt, unable to lay it down there, 0-1. Fakes the bunt, pulls it back, hit to second base, throw over to first in time for the last out of the inning. So still no runs on the board for West Johnston. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. And we're back here in the bottom of the third inning. Leading off for the Mustangs is going to be number 2, the third baseman, Lauren Pinella. And fouled backwards, 0-1. And that is a called strike, 0-2. Mustang hitters have been falling behind in the count. And that is a called strike 3, good pitch. And that is the first out of the inning, bringing up cleanup hitter, number 28, Kylie Majette.
You can tell why Megan Mills has pitched 2 games in a row because she's been doing amazing so far. Even though she's allowed one run, they're still doing amazing after holding up runners on the corners and people on second and third. She's done amazing on striking the batters out.
And that is a first pitch ball, but the report that you read at the beginning of the game, so through 3 postseason games, she's hit 40 strikeouts in 3 games, and that's pretty impressive. Foul ball.
And only 2 runs, so Middle Creek already has half of that so far, and they're probably gonna get more. So.
and kind of pokes at that one, and that one's going to land between the left fielder and the shortstop. Hit it off the end of the bat, but good location gets her a single with one out, bringing up the pitcher, number 25, Devin Wallace. Believe that was called a ball. We want to know.
As we said earlier, Devin's already had 2 home runs in this postseason, so if the Mustangs continue to move on, she'll hopefully get some more, and that'll be amazing for the Mustangs. That'll give them a hot streak and give them a boost of confidence. So.
And that last called strike looked like it was framed well by the catcher. And that one's popped up and foul. Throw down to first, not in time. And that one's popped up, barely caught by the shortstop. Throw over to first in time for the double play, and that's going to end the Mustangs inning. Score remains 1-0. Good play by the shortstop. Wasn't sure she was going to be able to hang on to it there. So we're going to go into the top of the 4th. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. Welcome back to the Sports Block, top of the 4th inning. Score remains 1-0.
Here's the one up and the pitch. Foul tip. Looked a bit low on that pitch, but so now the count's 1-1.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. This is number 3, Rachel Willis, up to bat. She is the third baseman. And fights that one off. Count remains the same. And high and outside, 2-2. And foul tip, but caught by the catcher. And that is a strikeout. Another one for Wallace. That is the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 5, the first baseman, Caitlin McClam. Called strike, 0-1.
Another swing and a miss. That's strike 2.
And another swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Wallace. That is the second out of the inning. That is 9 on the day, and that's going to bring up number 1, Lauren LeClaire, second baseman.
That's what my headlights look like when I hit the deep.
And that bunt is hit to Pinella over at third, throw to first, low, gets by her, but nice backup by Class, the right fielder, to prevent that from turning into a double.
Up to bat now for the Wildcats is the pitcher, number 12, Megan Mills.
And that's popped up and caught by Majette for the final out of the inning. Still no score for West Johnston. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. This is number 5, the catcher, Jenna Powell. And something we're not actually really accustomed to, some chanting from Middle Creek bleacher section. And in fact, there's not enough room in the bleachers for every Middle Creek fan, so it's actually kind of bled over into the away team, West Johnston's bleachers, and about half of those are actually West Johnston fans. The other half is Middle Creek Mustang fans. Home field advantage, you might call it.
It's a lot shorter of a drive, you can say that.
0-2. And, you know, going back to the game, the last game against Fuquay, regular season game, Middle Creek beat them. That was to secure the #1 seed in the tournament. So that's really paying off here with the home field advantage. And Palace called on a strikeout there. Umpires really been calling those inside pitches, and I don't think batters on either side of the plate really appreciate it. This is number 22, second baseman Jackie Schiavone. A very low-scoring game by Middle Creek standards, 1-0. She squares for the bunt, just hits it in the air, and caught by the catcher, number 13, Hannah Cooper, for the second out of the inning. And that's going to bring up right fielder, number 4, Rachel Klass. Swing and a miss. 0-1. And chases after that one, 0-2. And another swing and a miss, and that is the end of the inning. Going into the top of the 5th, score is 1-0. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
One block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. Guess who's back? Yes, back again. It is the Sports Block here in the top of the 5th inning. And 1-0 remains the score. Wallace remains on the mound. This is number 13, Hannah Cooper, the catcher, up to bat for West Johnston. And that is fouled back.
Here's Devin with the pitch.
Swing and a miss, 0-2. And another swing and a miss for the first out of the inning today. And grounder off the glove of Wallace. Schiavone able to recover it, but not nearly in time. And I'm going to count that a hit in the books. So 1 out, 1 on.
Outside by Devin Wallace on the pitch, 1-0. Here's the windup and the pitch, and she tries to bunt it, but it's a foul ball.
and take this time to just talk about Mr. Wes Petty's desire to talk about food during sports block broadcasts. Would not be complete without it. Milk duds is the topic of the day. 1 and 2 is the count, according to the scoreboard.
And this is Ashley McLaren up to the bat.
And hit in the air and caught. Throw over to first for the double play. Just poor base running there for West Johnston. And no harm done to the Mustangs, 1-0. Still the score. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. This is number 1, Lily Morris leading off here in the bottom of the 5th inning for the Mustangs. It's only been about an hour so far into the game, moving by very quickly. And a quick team meeting, a powwow in the circle. That's what I said, right? Called strike. And Mustangs, they put some pressure here early against West Johnston, but have been struggling to maintain that. They haven't scored a run since the first inning. That's a quick first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 55, shortstop Allie Burkhart. And outside. And, I'm just looking out right now. It's almost perfect blue skies. Maybe a cloud here and there, but I don't know what the weather app is saying in terms of thunderstorm potential. It's beautiful outside right now. And lays down the bunt. Going to be hard to throw it down to first. And she is there in time, safe.
That was nice base running by Allie Burkhart there. Way to get down the line quickly.
And if you're gonna hit for or bunt for a base hit, that's the place to lay it towards the third baseman. Had to give her some time to recover the ball and throw her to first. And Burkhart just, typically lead off hitters are quick, and so is Burkhart. And that's gonna bring up number 7, Megan Walker, who also lays down a bunt, and that is a hard bunt and very well placed. That is a very impressive bunt. As the shortstop went to go cover second base, but had to come back to field the ball. And now just like that, 1 out with 2 runners on, and that's going to bring up number 2, Lauren Pinella. Oh, and 1 is the count. And another bunt to the pitcher. Throw to first is in time this time, but Pinella does her job, and it's going to be up to Majette to hit these base runners in with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mustangs maintain the lead, but any sort of insurance run here is going to go a long way. And, you know, I believe this is a good coaching call by Coach Robbie Ray. Sees hitters are struggling and just playing some small ball to get some runners on base and force West Johnston to make the plays here. I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to maybe see West Johnston adapt the same tactics when they're batting, as Wallace has been dominant. And that's a ball off the head of Majette. That's what helmets were made for. So now base is loaded, and up comes the pitcher, number 25, Devin Wallace. Base hits here, scores 2. Needs to get a base hit as there are 2 outs on the inning.
Or even a walk. That would even score a run or 2 because the bases are loaded.
And that's hit to the shortstop. Short hop, has it in time. Throw over third in time as well. And Mustangs unable to capitalize. So going into the top of the 6th, score remains the same. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
One block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he shrugs them off.
And we're back with the Sports Block. Leading off for West Johnston's going to be number 10, Nadia Blevins. This is the Wildcats' top of the order. Lays down the bunt, but pops it right back. Foul. And squares for the bunt, but that pitch is wild. Pulls it back, 1-1. And a called strike.
Looked like it was on the outside corner. Just made the strike zone.
And 1-2 pitch is hit high in kind of no man's land and off the glove of Class. And that's going to allow the runner to reach second base. Tough play to make. Looks like she had it. Just hit off the top of the glove. So with no outs, Middle Creek might be in some trouble here with the Wildcats having a runner in scoring position with no outs. And that's going to bring up number 2, Kristen Power. Powell going to have a quick meeting with Wallace. Wallace has been pretty big on strikeout production here. She's going to have to do that to really prevent the Wildcats from allowing a run, like giving up a run to the Wildcats. Because with three outs to burn, just any kind of hit or walk or anything is going to be very detrimental to the Mustangs. And now they're going to have their own little powwow in the circle here. And we're here for the first pitch. Swing and a miss. 0-1. And coach giving signs to the batter. Lays down, fakes the bunt. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second. That was a poor decision as that hits off the glove. Throw to third. Walker has the arm, but not in time. And silly mistake is going to allow the runner to reach third here with no outs. 2 strikes, I do believe. And just going to pop that one up. Almost caught by Powell, not quite there. Now anything that's hit in the outfield to the right side of the diamond is going to score the runner on third. And a swing and a miss, just what the doctor ordered. And that is the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 3, Rachel Willis. And that is a line drive into right center field. That's going to easily score the runner from third. And now the Mustangs really in some trouble here. Probably the most trouble they've been in all tournament, as the game is now tied with a runner on second base and still only 1 out. And coming to the plate is their cleanup hitter, number 5, Caitlin McLam. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Mustang's only job here this inning is to make sure that runner on second base does not score. And lays down the bunt, bobbled by the pitcher. Throw over to first in time. Oh no!
And the runner scored too. So now the Wildcats have the lead, winning 2-1.
And the umpire called her safe that her foot was off the bag. And that's going to bring up number 1, Lauren LeClaire. Still 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning.
The Mustangs need a big play here to boost their confidence. That would really help a lot right now.
And foul ball. And fakes the bunt. Pulls back, though. 1-1. High and outside. Looks like Wallace is a little bit rattled here. And a hit to second base. Throw over to first in time. And that is the second out of the inning, but that does put another runner in scoring position for the Wildcats. And this is going to be the pitcher, number 12, Megan Mills, up to bat. Had Schiavone at second base not had a hard time getting the ball out of her glove. She might have been able to turn double play there. Very difficult to do in softball, though.
Or at least get the force out at second.
And that's hit in the left field. They're going to wave the runner home. Throw to the plate, not in time. And just like that, West Johnston goes up 3-1. And they're going to bring on a special pinch runner here for the pitcher. And on comes number 13, Hannah Cooper. Way outside, pass ball, and that's going to allow the runner on first to advance. If I'm the Middle Creek coaches here, I'm calling a timeout to come talk to my pitchers. She is obviously rattled up here.
They just need to get through this inning and get it over with so they can use their big bats, because they definitely have big bats once they make contact with the ball.
And that is a called strike. Umpire going to call timeout to clean off the plate. And that's outside. And hit foul.
Here's the windup and the pitch.
High and outside. Count is now full, I do believe. Payoff pitch, fouled back. And there's a walk. Still 2 outs on the inning, first and second. And that's going to bring up number 8, Jordan Hunt. Powell having a quick powwow with Wallace on the mound in the circle. Just needs to kind of calm down here and go back to what she was doing at the beginning of the game. Low and outside, 1-0. One and one now. And that's hit off the end of the bat to Pinella at third. runs over to the base and gets her in time for the first force out, but West Johnston does a ton of damage here in the top of the sixth, going up 3-1 over the Mustangs. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
One block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back. Bottom of the sixth inning, leading off for the Mustangs is number 5, Jenna Powell. Mustangs really need to get some offensive production here. They're down 3-1 here.
People better put on their rally caps because we need a rally coming.
And that's fouled backwards. Mustangs not really used to being behind here in any game this playoff. I believe they were down 1-0 in the first game, but that was at the end of the top of the first.
And that didn't last for long.
And that didn't last for long at all. You're right. So not a position the Mustangs are used to, and they're going to have to produce here if they want to advance to the next round. And another foul ball. 2 strikes now. And the 0-2 pitch is hit high. Looks foul. And no defender is going to be able to get to it, so count remains the same. And the 0-2 pitch inside. 1-2. And another foul ball.
She's determined to stay alive and get a hit here because she's fouling everything off right now. So
it seems like it might be a little bit too late in the game to kind of wear down the pitcher. So Mustangs really just need hits here. And another foul ball. Not hurting the cause, though, I will say that. And another ball. 2-2. Good job by Powell staying alive. And 2-2 pitch hit high in the air. Looks like West Johnston's going to be able to catch it. And they do. That is the first out of the inning.
that was a long at bat though, so that has to wear the pitcher down a little bit. So.
And that's going to bring up number 22, Jackie Schiavone. If I'm Coach Robbie Ray here, I'm going to try and do exactly what I did the last inning, and that is lay down a couple of bunts. Infield is playing relatively back. Anything down the third baseline would probably be a base hit. And that was ball one.
There's a lot more shade than there was the first game, so that's an advantage to the fielders, so they don't have the sun in their way.
1-1 now. And a swing and a miss. One-two pitch, fouled back. West Johnston has all of the momentum right now. Middle Creek, both the players and the fans are pretty deflated. High and outside, 2-2. Too high once again, works at the full. So here is the payoff pitch. Swing and a miss. And that is the second out of the inning. So that's going to bring up number 4, right fielder Rachel Klass. Called strike, outside corner. And that's fouled into the stands. 0-2. And fights that one off.
Just off the end of the bat there.
And that's fought off once again. So here is the 0-2 pitch once again. Pretty close, 1-2. And that's hit between short and third. And that is a 2-out single, bringing up number 1, Lily Morris.
First hit in a while, Mustangs needed that. That might bring some momentum to their team.
Yeah, you know, it's going to be tough to score with 2 outs here, but give both the players and the crowd some confidence.
There can always be a 2-out rally, so hopefully there's one here.
And that's popped, hopefully out of play.
Yes.
And is, in fact, 0-1. And another foul ball, 0-2. O2 pitch hit high, not very far. And that's caught by the shortstop for the final out of the inning. So we're going to go to the top of the 7th. Mustangs really need to make sure that West Johnston does not score if they want any chance of winning this one. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. Wallace remains on the mound. This is number 11. Ashley McLaren batting for West Johnston. That's a called ball. Swing and a miss. And hit off the end of the bat, but caught by Burkhart in the middle of the field for the first out of the inning. And lays down the bunt, but pulls it back. And does, in fact, lay down the bunt again, but foul. And doesn't look like she's pulling back quite as early as she should be doing. 2-1 is the count. And there's the bunt right back to the pitcher. Field throw to first in time for the second out of the inning.
Nice play by the Mustangs there, just barely getting her before she gets there because she's the fastest runner on the team because she's batting first. So.
And that was Nadia Blevins. Now batting is number 2, Kristen Power. High and outside, 1-0.
And swing and a miss.
Pretty close, probably a little bit high, a little bit outside. 2-1.
Here's Devin with the pitch.
And pop foul. Even count now, 2-2. Still 2 outs. And chopped in a good location. Throw to first, not in time. Too quick for that. And that is a 2-out single. And that's going to bring up number 3, Rachel Willis. And that's too high, 1-0. And a called strike, 1-1. And hit over the head into the left center field gap. They need to get to that ball. And they're waving her home.
That's a run scored.
And that is an RBI double with 2 outs for Rachel Willis. Not going to make it any easier for the Mustangs to come back here.
Now the Wildcats have a 3-run lead and into the last inning. So.
And this is number 5, Caitlin McLam, up to bat. Called strike, 0-1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. O2 pitch, fouled back. And 2 inside. And that's popped up out of play. And swing and a miss, throw down to first, gets her. And that's the end of the top of the 7th inning. So Mustangs really need some runs right about now, going into the bottom of the 7th inning. They trail by 3. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
Kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. And we're back with the Sports Block doing the not something we're accustomed to seeing here at softball games. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The traditional Mustang roller coaster, typically exclusively a football thing, but enough students here for that to happen.
And occasionally basketball too, when there's a big crowd. But I rarely see that at softball games. But there's a first time for everything. So.
Yep, and this is exactly what the Mustangs need to have here. They're leading off with the top of the order, Allie Berghart, Megan Walker, and Lauren Pinella. 1, 2, 3 hitters.
Sounds like runs to me.
They trail by 3. Mustangs need, they're not going to be able to play much small ball here, as a bunt may result in an out. Of course, Burkhart may bunt for a base hit here. And in fact, lays it down, but foul, 0-1. Oh-1 pitch. Check swing, called a strike, 0-2. And that's popped up and caught for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 7, Megan Walker. Called strike, 0-1. And kind of pokes at it. And over the head of the left fielder, this is going to be a triple, easily, I would say. And just what the Mustangs needed to get going. Runner on third with 1 out.
Great momentum for the Mustangs there.
And
especially with Megan Walker's speed, she easily got to a triple.
And with West Johnston here, they're not too worried about Walker on third. 1 run does not mean much. And that's going to bring up number 2, Lauren Pinella. And that's popped up to the shortstop for the second out of the inning. And now 1 out remaining for the Mustangs. Their hopes lie on number 28, Kylie Majette, cleanup hitter. First pitch, ball. Called strike, outside corner, 1-1. One pitch, hit high but foul, 1-2. And that's lined off the glove of the third baseman. Mustangs stay alive.
Way to get an RBI there, and it was a great power hit down the third base line there.
Score is now 2-4. And now up to bat is number 25, Devin Wallace. First pitch, foul, 0-1. And that's it high and deep. Get out. And it's over the fence! Home run! That's a two-run home run for Devin Wallace! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And now the game's tied in the last inning.
Are you kidding me?
Way to go, Devin!
And just like that, the game is tied at 4. 4-4. Bottom of the 7th inning, a 2-run home run.
Talk about a rally. Way to go.
That is a huge play. A huge play for the Mustangs.
That's what I'm talking about.
I never mentioned it. Way to go, Mustangs.
Thank you, Sports Block. Give me a hard rock.
Okay, now back to the game. So where were we?
And we're back with the Sports Block.
Sorry about that interruption, people.
This is number 5 catcher, Jenna Powell. 0-1. 1-1 now. And hit out of play. 1-2.
Good contact, though. It just didn't straighten out.
That was Wallace's 3rd home run of the playoff series, and it could not have come at a better time.
She's done an amazing job hitting and pitching this game, so.
2-2 is now the count to Powell. And that's hit out of play towards us at the Sports Block. 2-2. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Thought it was that was correct. That was the 3rd ball. Powell getting a little ambitious.
Good try, though.
Had the umpire not had said anything, I wouldn't have either. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Hit up the hole for a base hit.
Better than a walk there.
And now the winning run is on first base for the Mustangs, and coming up to bat is number 22, Jackie Schiavone. Pitcher is calling a quick meeting with everybody. And having a quick meeting on the mound. Powell needs to be smart. Actually, Powell is not base running right now. She is the catcher, so special pinch runner number 14, Kelsey Carr, is on first base. She needs to be very cautious. First pitch strike, 0-1. And another called strike, 0-2. Schiavone did not like it.
She has to protect now in order to keep the inning alive.
High and outside, 1-2. One-two pitch, swung on and missed. And that is the final out of the bottom of the 7th inning. So we're going to have extra innings here, folks. Score remains tied 4-4. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he shrugs him off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs him off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs him off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end. And we're back with the Sports Block, top of the 8th. Extra innings. Leading off is number 1, Lauren LeClaire. Game tied at 4.
This isn't something you see every day, people. This is an extra innings in the playoffs.
And certainly high stakes here. First pitch called ball, 1-0.
A bit close there. The Middle Creek crowd wasn't too happy about that.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. And first pitch, foul, caught by Majet. First out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the pitcher, number 12, Megan Mills. And line drive up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. Long turn towards second, but going to have to remain at first. And that's going to bring up number 13, Hannah Cooper. Special pinch runner coming on for the pitcher. This is the number 7 hitter for West Johnston. Swing and a miss. A 1 pitch, squares for the bunt. Pulls it back. 1-1 is the count. And gets the bunt, but goes foul, 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 2 outside, counts even. And a swing and a miss. And that's the second out of the inning. And do take note, that was the 12th strikeout for Wallace. And this is number 8, Jordan Hunt. Hit off the handle of the bat and caught by Majette for the last out of the inning. So Mustangs coming up in the bottom of the 8th. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. And it worked once, it'll work again. Mustang roller coaster. Yeah, it's certainly been a roller coaster.
That's the least you can say about this. Had its up and its downs, but let's see what will pay off.
And batting in this inning, we're going to have number 4, Rachel Class, number 1, Lily Morse, and then swing around back to the top of the order with Allie Berghardt. And Megan Mills will remain on the mound.
Both pitchers have pitched the complete game at this point, so that's really great for this, considering that they didn't get tired at all. So.
And we're about ready to get underway here. And first pitch swung and missed. One pitch, fouled, excuse me, fouled back, 0-2. And 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. So that is the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up number 1, Lily Morse. Too high, 1-0. Anything's going to help the Mustangs here. Oh, should have maybe stayed in the box and taken that one. Maybe. 2-0. Let it hit her. And now 3-0, so definitely going to be taking here. And called strike. If I'm Robbie Ray, I'm telling her to take another pitch.
Has to be her pitch though, if she wants it.
Has to be the perfect pitch right here. And she does swing at it.
Ooh.
And very close to our microphone. Full count now. And here's the payoff pitch. Hit high. And deep, but right to the center fielder.
Just
and
a
that
few
is
more feet.
that is the second out of the inning. And now it's going to bring it around to number 55, Allie Burkhart, top of the order. Lays down a bunt, and that's a good one. Throw from third in time. Good throw, good play. And that ends the bottom of the eighth. So going into 9 now. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he shrugs them off, and he makes another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. This is the number 9 hitter, Ashley McLaren, leading off for West Johnston. Swing and a miss. High and inside, 1-1. And lays down a bunt right in front of the catcher. Pal throw to first in time. Good play. Nice job by Schiavone to get to the bag. And now it's back around to the top of the order for West Johnston. This is number 10, Nadia Blevins, and they've been dangerous this game.
Don't be surprised if she buns, because she's tried that the last, 2 times, I believe.
And she's quick. She's definitely quick. And first pitch does not square. 1-0. One 0 pitch, swung on, fouled back, 1-1. And 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed, 1-2. Field is now entirely enclosed in shadows.
But yet the sky is still blue.
Yeah, beautiful weather this entire game. And a foul ball. Coach lost the sunglasses down at third.
I'm surprised Nadia's not bunting, considering that she's the number 1 hitter and the quickest, so. But Nadia can't bunt now that it's 2 strikes, so.
And wanted to go for it, held off though, 2-2. And wild pitch, full count now. Do not want to allow any runners on base. Three-two pitch, fouled back once again. And full count once again. And fouled back once again. Wallace's pitch count has got to be up there. And full count. Swing and a miss. And that is the second out of the inning. 13th on the day. And that's going to bring up number 2 hitter Kristen Power. Swing and a miss. And popped up in the infield and caught by Wallace, the pitcher. And down go the Wildcats again. So Mustangs, this game to win now, going into the bottom of the 9th. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back with the Sports Block. 2, 3, and 4 hitter batting for the Mustangs. Leading off is number 7, Megan Walker.
Umpire had to take a quick little break there.
Everybody has to use the bathroom, myself included. First pitch, too high. Looks like she's trying to slap hit here. Slap hit. Two and 0 now. And 2-0 pitch, too high, 3-0. Walker almost certainly going to be taken here. And called strike, 3-1. And hit over the head of the shortstop. That's going to be a base hit.
That is a huge advantage for the Mustangs, getting Megan Walker on base because she is very fast.
Indeed she is, and that's going to bring up number 2, third baseman, Lauren Pinella. And maybe expect a bunt here. And lays it down right back to the pitcher. Throw over to first in time. Pinella does her job, and now Walker's in scoring position with only 1 out here. And on comes Majette. Following Majette is going to be Devin Wallace.
Base hit 2-8. Base hit scores it. Come on, put it in the grass.
A base hit to the right outfield will probably score Megan, considering her speed. So,
as long as Majette does not pop out or strike out, it will advance Walker. Walk will put 2 runners on base. And that's hit and pop up to the infield. And that's the second out of the inning. So back to the plate comes up number 25, Devin Wallace. Looked a little outside, called a strike, 0-1. 2 outs, runners on second, bottom of the 9th inning. And that's fouled back, 0-2 now to Wallace. And here's the 0-2 pitch. Fought off. Count remains the same. And here's the 0-2 pitch once again. Fouled back once again towards Sports Block.
She's continuing to battle, considering that she's hit 3 foul balls in a row, so way to stay alive. She's refusing to get a new ball. She likes the one that she had Devin Wallace keeps hitting out of play.
She wants to have dirt on the ball. It gives the pitcher a little bit better of a grip. And in comes more softballs. Oh, 2 pitch. Hit high.
Please drop, please drop.
And completely misplayed
Yes!
by the left fielder.
That's ball game!
Mustangs win!
Ball game!
Mustangs win! Mustangs win! That's the end of the game. Mustangs win 5-4 in overtime. That's it, folks. Mustangs win 5-4 in 9 innings.
What a game for Devin Wallace, especially. Great pitching and great batting.
And Mustangs win 5-4 in 9 innings.
Thank God for rally caps.
And they are going to advance to the next round of the playoffs. And just like that, after being down to 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, down by 2.
Down by 3.
At one point they were down by 2 with 2 outs. And here they are coming back to win it 5-4 in the bottom of the 9th. If I'm any player on this Mustang softball team, I am more than excited because I'm not even on the team, and I'm super excited.
Same here, I know, right?
All right. So now that we've all calmed down a little, we'll talk about what's going on in the next round. Winner is going to play the winner of, Middle Creek is going to be playing the winner of the Richmond Cape Fear game. They have advanced to the Final Four of the state playoffs. That's going to be at Walnut Creek. I think dates are still to be determined for the game. Sports Block should be there to cover it. And we're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to talk more about it later. Stay tuned. You're watching the Sports Block.
And he just shrugs them off. And another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block. And he just shrugs them off. And another two.
And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone. And we're back one more time with the Sports Block. Again, Mustangs just won 5-4 in the bottom of the ninth inning. This is the first time since 2008 that the Mustangs have advanced to the Final Four part of the 4A state playoffs. They are going to be playing the winner of the Richmond-Cape Fear game, unfortunately. We don't know what's going on there quite yet. Dates for that game, the next Middle Creek game is to be determined. I believe Sports Block is going to make the trip and cover those games. It is going to be a best of 3 series, so the rest of the playoffs have been single elimination, but coming up in the next round, it's going to be best of 3. So I mean, we'll talk about this game real quick. Mustangs got off to a very quick start in the bottom of the first inning. Looked like they were going to be able to just jump right on West Johnston. That wasn't the case. They were able to stop the bleeding, and Middle Creek led 1-0 until I believe it was the 5th inning, or I'm sorry, top of the 6th inning, when they scored 3 runs that inning, putting them up 3-1. Did not look good for the Mustangs. Going into the bottom of the 7th, they were down by 3. The score was 1-4. And Megan Walker had a triple with 1 out, I believe. She was then batted in, so they were down 4-2. And then eventually, fast forward a little bit, 1 runner on base with 2 outs. I believe there was 2 strikes on Wallace. Or I'm sorry, 1 strike. It was the second pitch of the at-bat. And just like that, 1 swing of the bat, Middle Creek tied it up. And that was the end of regulation play going in to the 8th. All tied up, and here we are in the 9th. Misplayed by the left fielder. Very hard hit ball by Wallace, but it was enough to end the game as Walker scored the winning run and Mustangs advance to the next round of the playoffs. So typically what is tradition here, we pick our star players. I think it's pretty obvious
No question about it.
who we're going to pick. Devin Wallace. I mean, pitched 9 innings. Pitched 9 innings, gave up 4 runs, which is, typically more than she gives up. But she looked like she was starting to get rattled, but she hung in there and ended up completing this game. And then, as we said, down by 2 with 2 outs, hits the 2-run home run
And also the game-winning
and the
RBI.
game-winning hit. And that's just the easiest pick in all of Sports Block history, I'd have to say.
And plus, she got 13 strikeouts in this entire game. That's incredible.
But, of course, this was a team effort all around. Mustangs did very solid on defense and pitching, and everybody contributed for the most part while batting. So, I mean, while Wallace was the star player, it was a team effort all around, and they certainly deserved it. And Mustangs were awarded conference or bracket champions, I believe, of the East.
Yes, the East.
And like I said, they're moving on to the next round. This is huge for the Mustangs.
First time since 2008.
And for those keeping count, Wallace finishes with 13 strikeouts on the day. And I believe that's going to do it for us here at the Sports Block. Just kidding. So rain held off pretty well. It's still pretty, clouds kind of see them off in the horizon. But clear for the most part.
There were projected to be thunderstorms, though, but we didn't see a single cloud, basically.
Beautiful weather for softball. And for those who are interested, completely softball, unrelated, there's supposed to be a meteor shower tonight, pretty late, anytime at night. Take a look up at the skies. Going to be raining meteors, and I think that'd be a great way to cap off the day, just throwing that out there. And, of course, this upcoming weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Take a trip on down to the beach. I think it's a good weekend for a trip down to the beach. I certainly think the entire softball team deserves it at this point after what I would call a very stressful game. And
West Johnston was a great competition today, especially considered being a number 2 seed. That was a number 1 seed versus number 2 seed in the finals of this bracket. So great competition, and it was a great game.
Definitely a great game. And this time, in fact, we are going to wrap it up. So for Tucker Penny, I'm Will Giddis for another edition of some high-octane Sports Block.